everybody, and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jose Romero.
Greetings and salutations and cheers to y'all.
Wonderful week in geek. We have so much to talk about, and you know what? Me and Jose made a promise to ourselves today. It's Thanksgiving. Well, it's not Thanksgiving, but
Oh,
it's November. We're going to Thanksgiving. It is Black Panther opening weekend. We're gonna just talk about things that make us happy today. That's it.
yeah.
Just positive things.
This is
No,
all positivity heading soon enough into the holiday season,
sure. Like,
right?
not that it won't be without its criticisms, but it's gonna be stuff we
Oh no,
actually
this
want
this
to talk about.
criticism, of course, it is what it is. But
But just stuff we want to talk about. Nice
sure.
feelings because we have a great doubleheader of good talks today. We're gonna talk about Black Panther with Wakanda Forever opening weekend. But first, we're gonna open up with the other juicy nerd nugget. Jose, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's just Andor. We gotta start with Andor, right? Which is like
Mm.
the appetite. I mean, and Black just to be warned, forewarned, it Black Panther will be a spoiler
Oh,
discussion.
huge
Well,
spoiler! Yeah.
just
Oh, so many things are gonna
right, right.
spoil.
So yeah, just a heads up on that.
Yeah,
But back to Andor, episode 10, right? Two left.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, two left. We've been digging the show, and this was a great episode, a payoff, much like the fourth, fifth episode, like when I had the heist.
The sixth episode, the Eye.
Yeah,
That
right.
was
This was a payoff to the last three, four episodes, and was setting
right.
up the whole thing with he's in prison and trying to escape and all that. Finally, escaping, coming to fruition. Dude, I thought they knocked this out of the park, dude.
Dude, anyone who's like, this show is going too slow, it's because you're learning how and why he's about to do a thing. Nothing is like, don't, it's like, it's a buildup, but fast track. Like, it's not taking months, it's taking weeks and days. That's kind of the closest version to life, which you see when you go to see drama, have people actually make sense why, like, why are they doing this thing? No one ever questions why someone's doing a thing in Andor. Everyone completely fucking understands. We've seen the birth of, like, the being annoyed to I have to kill somebody to get out of here. That is what Andor does. That is what the series is about. Is like, when is your breaking point to have enough, and are you ready to step up your game? Every single time when he has to, no one's like, I don't understand why he would do that. Like, you get it because it's played well and it takes the time to show you the thing. I think it's honestly, this in Mandalorian every single time, nothing but bangers. Even when it's slow, it's good because it pays off. It's not just slow because it was like a filler moment they didn't know what to put in there.
Right, yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, like I said, it's about that payoff, right? If the payoff doesn't hit, then yeah, it's a waste of time. But the slow build up, if it pays it off, and a lot of shows like Breaking Bad is a good example of a show that built slow but always gave you that payoff, right? That were Game of Thrones, obviously, is another one like that, including this season. So yeah, I mean, and this is one that everything because last couple episodes were slow, and I was hoping that I get the payoff, right? Let's make this go somewhere because it feels like it was stalling for a second.
you feel. I didn't. I actually thought it was
For
like,
a bit,
now that's
like
gonna show.
okay, we need to move away from the prison, which they did. Great,
Right.
right? Another episode of that would have been redundant, too far down that path. So, yeah, they did it. They escaped. Andy Serkis is really good in this show. He's so good.
So good.
Although he can't swim, that's okay. We forgive him. And I think it was well that they touched other stuff. We meet the sister or something. Was that this episode? Or was that the last one? I'm
I
gonna.
think it was the last episode. But who we do realize is
Okay.
who the informant for the rebellion
Oh, that's
is.
what it was. Thank you. Yes.
That
Okay.
was the right.
Yeah.
That was which caught me by surprise
Yeah.
too. I didn't expect that dude. Like when I saw him in the elevator, I was like, nah, is he like? They got like a spy. Like, oh no, he's in it. Yeah, I was really surprised about that. And um, the Scars guard that is the basically the mastermind of this cell of the rebellion. I forget his name, but he is knocking it out of the park every
Oh, he's
episode
great.
he's in.
Yeah, he's
Like,
yeah.
just nailing. Like, there's no part. Like, even some of the choices that seem odd initially, as he keeps playing it off, you're like, oh yeah, that's a perfect way why he's like. I remember when, like, in episode 6, when in the Eye, when he found out that the heist actually worked, and he had to go into the room and laugh, and he was like, oh my god, I can't believe it worked. This is awesome. And he's like, oh man, it worked. I gotta do the next thing. So like that little trend, it was so well played, and having him admit about, to destroy my enemy, I have to become my enemy, and I've willingly sacrificed who I was to make that. Like, that entire, like, this is why you're not gonna leave, and this is why we're not gonna stop, dude. Heart wrenching. I was literally in. I know some people will say like, "Oh, this superhero movie really was." Most of them aren't. But this really, I was like, man, I felt that. I was really happy that they're performing at that level.
No, no, it's just such a great show. We got two left, unfortunately, right? It's 12, 13. I thought it's 12. It's 12.
12,
It's 12.
and then a second season whenever that comes
Right,
out.
right. Another 12 after that. I think it's like another year or so. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I really hope they ended well. Um, I guess I would. As far as going forward, I guess he'll probably meet up with Skarsgård again. I assume by the end of the season.
If he doesn't die, yeah.
Well, fair enough. If Skarsgård doesn't die, we know this guy
Right,
obviously
exactly. I
and live
meant
lives.
in story, not in real life. No,
No,
don't
no.
let him
Well, maybe I
die.
don't know. Hopefully not in real life, but
I know, unless he wants to go out all John Belushi on like cocaine and hookers. They're like, you know what? I don't support that lifestyle, but I understand it. I get it.
I get it. It's fine.
It's a choice. It's a hard
But it's
choice.
got to make your choices. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
It is what it is. But no, but yeah, the choice is to watch this show. You should be watching the show if you're a Star Wars fan, and I wish it was getting more love than what it is.
Yeah, man.
In terms
So
of
I
numbers.
like that's the one thing that just I can't wrap my brain around. I was like, how good the show is and how
I mean, like
little
I said,
people are caring
people
about it.
can't be turned off by it because yeah, it's a slow build. Some people don't like that. And that's fine. Listen, that's fine. It is what it is. Some people, all they want is the action. All they want the Obi-Wan. Whatever, fine. To reach their own, right?
You can't want Obi-Wan and then complain when Obi-Wan gives it to you.
Oh, no,
All
no.
right,
Listen,
that's what I'm saying.
I
Right?
agree.
Like there's got
There's
to
no
be
question,
a
right? But
cognitive self-awareness. Like I want something to happen every episode. That's major. Okay, here's this. Oh, it feels forced and unreal. It's too rushed. And then things, take a moment, let them breathe. Okay, we're doing it. But now I understand too much. I don't like understanding everyone's motivations. Just make it blow up more. Like Jesus
that's what I'm saying.
Christ.
So it's odd. I don't know. But that being said, I'm enjoying it. You're enjoying it. Whatever, right? We're gonna get a second season. That's a good thing. So yeah, kudos, man. Kudos. They're hitting hard this. So absolutely. Um, so now appetizers been had. Let's go to the main course. It's obviously going to be again a full spoilerific breakdown, right?
No
Opinions,
stone will be
thoughts. We'll
left
break everything
unturned.
down as far as Wakanda Forever. This is the last MCU of the year, the last of Phase 4 as well.
That's right. Official.
In inconsistent Phase 4, right? I was excited for this one because of Coogler. A lot of good things were coming out of their premiere and all that, which sometimes they exaggerate. And I would say, yes, they exaggerate. For me, I'll give a quick thought, then jump to you because I'm not sure how you felt about the film. I sent you a text. I thought it was a tier 2. Still tier 2, lower end tier 2. Like, I prefer Shang-Chi overall. This was a good movie. It was well done. A lot of good stuff. A lot of great things in there, but it's a lot of stuff that just really prevented it from being as good as it probably should have been. I'll leave it at that. We'll get into some good and the bad. But Eric, your thoughts on this one?
So, spoiler
Spoiler.
rific review here.
Pure spoilers. That are,
The movie opens up with everyone, not everyone, I'll take it back. Shuri's lab and Shuri trying to find a way to save T'Challa from dying in his last 2 hours of life. This is if you're watching football today, this was the Vikings trying to make it to the field goal against the Bears
Bills.
and
Yes.
the Bills. Sorry, the Bills. And just when you think that they're gonna lose, they pull victory out of a probability. Like I don't know what was in the deal they signed with the devil, but they made that happen. That is how desperate Shuri is right now, trying to find a way to cure her brother. And then seeing the country of Wakanda react to the death of T'Challa, which should be sad, but certain cultures are very happy. I found
No.
that dynamic of relationships a little clunky.
Okay.
Even when they're shooting the camera through the fields of people dancing in joy for the passing of King T'Challa, like one dude literally looks at the camera, and I was like, "Come on, Coogler! Like
I didn't catch that. I didn't catch
you have
that.
CG powers of the yin yang. That guy is looking directly in camera and then going back to dancing. Like I'm sure you shot this more than once. How bad were the other takes? We're like not only are we going to keep this guy, but if we try to CGI his eyes, it'll just look weird. So we're going to just roll the punches. And then it's this beautiful moment where you see Black Panther's coffin, and one of their ships comes over and it lifts up the coffin, and it looks nice, but there's a little party that still goes, "Oh, that's CG," but it looks nice, and it leaves, and I was like, "Is that what this movie going to be like? Is this going to be something where it looks nice?" And I kind of understand what they're going for, but none of it feels comfortable.
Okay.
It feels very, I'm really trying to make these emotions work. And then it kicks to a year later, and it is one of the best fucking Marvel movies. Tier one for me,
Wow.
for sure. I took it as a more mature Empire Strikes Back. Think of it this way: when you watch A New Hope, it is a fairy tale. Boyfoot Farm meets a wizard, gets a sword, a magical light sword that belonged to his father. Now he's gonna save a princess with a rogue and his strong muscle best friend, and they have to take it from a dark knight who's trying to destroy all the other kingdoms with a giant space orb, and then the farm boy finds the weakness and blows it up, and everyone wins. It's a fucking fairy tale. It's a space fairy tale, but a fairy tale. And then you watch Empire, and if you watch New Hope at 8, Empire is you at 13. This is you trying to figure out really complex emotions, like what is how much are you willing to go for your cause, and what is right and what's wrong, and if you need to find a new mentor, can you become more? It's a whole big thing, and then find out your dad is the space Hitler, like all of it just bad, and then you grow up a lot. You, even if you weren't ready for that, movie makes you grow up a lot, and you can handle that at 13. And Wakanda Forever feels like, let's deal with being these big issues again, but now you're like 16. Like, you can drive a car now, so you have a 2-ton piece of machinery that can murder people if you are sloppy. So there's a lot of intensity to those choices, and now you're dealing with this thing where you're dealing with death and loss and avoidance and grief, and out of nowhere, when people think you're at your weakest, another country shows up that is going to give you a run for your money, that is just as strong as you, if not more, and it's led by a dude who appears psychopathic, but is doing it for the right reasons. But that doesn't mean he doesn't enjoy doing the bad things too. That level of complicated hero, like Marvel, once again takes DC's attempt and bitch slaps it across his face. They did Black Adam, and they got The Rock, and like, this is an anti-hero. And then they got Huta Huerte, or I hope I didn't butcher his name. I believe I may have
Sounds
did.
right. I don't know, but yeah, I get it.
Right, but they got him
Yeah.
to be Namor. Both of them, technically, kings of kingdoms. Both of them, pointy ears. Both of them can fly. One of them gave a compelling and complex and dark and empathetic performance, and the other one goes well with French fries.
I agree. I think that he was one of the highlights was him, right, as a villain. Well, he's not a villain because
He's an
I would like to.
anti-hero,
This one
and
thing.
his
This is a
anti-hero-ness is
but this is a minor complaint. It's not to do with the movie, but I would like to see Marvel just give me a villain who's just a bad guy. There are bad people out there. Not every villain has to
oh yeah,
have the
absolutely.
right. And this is another case of, okay, I've seen it a million times. I don't care for it. They did it well, but I want to see a villain, and that's been a slight issue, not with the film, just overall with Marvel, right? I don't know why. I don't know why that it's
They're in a
they're
big
allergic to
redeem
evil
kick.
people for some reason, as
They're
if
they're in a big redeem kick.
right.
They're in
It's
a
just
big
like,
redeem kick now.
can we just get like a good villain, right?
Yeah, Gore
Um,
the God Butcher should not get redeemed. It
Agree,
should be
exactly. And that's what I'm
Gore
saying.
the
It's
God
like
Butcher.
same
Yeah,
thing. That was the opportunity to give us that kind of, and it didn't happen. So,
right.
but so they keep, but whatever. They did it well here, despite the fact that he's not a villain. So, but I like that. He was really good. I liked him a lot. He was really good. You know, like the story, it made sense and all that. I just well put together, no doubt about it. Um, Bassett was fantastic in it. Shuri was good and bad, but
Yeah.
whatever. Inconsistent,
Oh,
but
Wilson Dukes, the guy who played uh he was in Us. Yeah,
Mbaku, sorry.
M'Baku.
Right, right.
Which, by the way, his performance, everything he said, I was like, I either wanted that on a T-shirt or a ringtone.
Yeah,
I just
he
it was
didn't get
Kill
enough
the
do in the
Fistman.
movie. He was kind of set aside, but when he was in there, he was good.
It was
Yeah.
when he even like honestly, I've been saying this at random moments all the time. When people ask me a question, I go Cuckoo Clan. Like I love his performance in all. Like this was even when he got the shit beat out of him, he was Umbaku from start. Like I loved his whole presentation. Performance just like I think Shuri being bad or inconsistent, the
Yes.
action thing,
Yeah.
Shuri, to me almost felt because everyone else was so on point. I almost felt like that was her character's dealing with growth. Like I made up for her inconsistent performance by going well because she's dealing with a lot right now, so that's why she's acting very like not 100% consistent to everybody else.
Yeah.
Like the chick who played Okoye, who's also Michonne in Walking Dead. She was
Dana Gira, is that her name? Gira,
I don't
something
know
like
her
that.
name. I
But
feel
yeah,
very
but yeah,
bad.
Okoye.
She was
I love her. She's great. She's
incredible.
great.
And like
I love her.
you want to talk about
Yeah.
like stepping up her
Yeah.
game and her level like her level of badassery in the Marvel universe, like ooh, amazing.
Yeah.
Like I loved when she had that fight with Atuma on the bridge.
That to
Like
me
that was
was the best action scene of the film. That was really good.
that was,
Yeah, that
you know what?
was
I disagree.
really.
I
I
think
guess
the best
to me,
action
the action was some of it was, particularly the third act was just eh. But that scene was really good. Like,
that scene was
yeah.
really good. I do think the final fight between Shuri and Namor on the
I don't even
beach.
want to get into it. We haven't got to the negatives yet, and that's just
I liked that ending. I thought it was really
and
cool.
the ending was fine. It was just it goes back, and we can start with a quick negative, and it goes back to what I said. Shuri should never have donned the suit. She didn't warrant it. She never should have had it. That's a part of the movie where I was like, she should have given it up to someone who can be the warrior. Like Okoye would have been a great example of that. A good time, physically, for her to redeem herself after being ousted. He, I developed the thing from the flower to give the powers again, hand it out to someone because Shuri fighting it's just so ridiculous, and that's what I complained about before you saw the movie. I didn't want to see that. It's just ridiculous. It makes no narrative sense for her to do some of the stuff she does, and she did in the movie, and I hated that because I knew it. That's exactly what they're gonna do. She can't fight. She can't fight. That she has to be protected when she goes outside the world because she can't take care of herself. But she takes the stuff and makes her
Hardship
strong.
or
But doesn't make because you're strong doesn't make you a fighter. There's a lot of big guys who don't know how to fight,
well,
and she was doing a lot of maneuvers. Like I mean, it's just, and I wish they shouldn't have done what I've done. I think her giving it to someone else would have meant a lot more.
here's why I disagree with that. It's because she does know how to fight because she even fought in the big. Not only did she fight in the big fight at the end of Black Panther
She
one,
didn't
but
fight.
she also fought.
She was doing her little
She fought, but
she was doing her
it's not just a walk.
laser
Like
things. There was no hand to
she,
hand combat with her.
she
Not one
wait.
bit.
She fought also in Endgame and she
Not
fought in
no hand to
Infinity
hand
War.
combat at all. You need to go back on. She never had any
Remember,
affinity to
all Wakandans are trained at a basic level
maybe,
of
but
hand to hand combat.
she's a lab rat. Let's be honest. She's a lab rat. There's no indication that she's been trained. If she was down to a badass, she could have gone in the world and they had a Koi back her up because she was deathly afraid something's gonna happen in the dark because she can't take care of herself. You can send a Koya on her own. She's gonna do what she do. Sure, he's not. That's just and establish it in this film. They told you she
And
can't do it,
and
and that was what I
mainly
said. I
because
just think that it makes sense for her to just missing 5 years out of her life come back, and all of a sudden now she can fight. It just didn't make sense. That's why I didn't like that. I wanted to see someone else take that mantle. At that point, she did. She took as far as she could. She led as well. She didn't even lead. She was just being a baby about it. But whatever. It was M'Baku that really kind of had the better sense of leadership, right?
right.
But at that point, she did what she did, created a thing, and I think that's the point in where they say, "Okoye, you obviously this is how you get back in. You are the warrior." I thought it would be a great opportunity to put her as Black Panther. A really good
See,
opportunity to do that, and
I
and,
think
and, and
you.
they and they dropped the ball and they gave it a shot, and just it didn't make sense. But it goes back to at the end of the day, they should have recasted him. They should have recasted him.
I mean, obviously, I think that I don't think this is the most perfect movie. I do think this is top tie for first place for the best Marvel movie for this phase. It's this between this and No Way Home. It's those are the two best. Marvel movies for this phase because uh, I love the fact that Shuri wasn't perfect and she had her faults and her flaws because everyone that you've described would make a much better leader. But and part of this is you want to show that she has faults. That is she can she lead? Yes, but is she the best leader for the job? No, because she is emotionally connected to Killmonger's position now.
Well, and
That was a really
and
smart
that I
play.
like that take, but that would have been so much. And again, it's not the fault of the film, and I get it. That they would the best of what they had. But
Right.
the
And
choice,
that's
let's
and
assume if they would have recast T'Challa, exact same
sure.
movie, and the mother dying, and having this guy who's the noble, as Killmonger said, the noble, right?
Right.
Come that into question now that he's out for revenge because they killed his mother,
Uh-huh.
right? That would have been so good. It doesn't work the same as Shuri. It doesn't, and that's what I'm
I
saying.
thought it did
If they would
work,
have kept Black Panther, then it would
but
have been
wait, but
better.
you're missing the forest from the trees, man. You're right. It doesn't work with Shuri because Shuri's not the long-term plan. Even though Shuri does become Black Panther in the comics.
Sure, which I
T'Challa
get.
is Black Panther again, and let's go
No,
into
but
the
I'm saying,
after
but
credit
I'm not
scene.
asking. I'm just saying. Listen, I'm just saying, forget the plan. If they would have recast the chart and that was the way they went, that whole moment would have been so much better. I'm not saying that's they can't do it now because they chose not to do it, and that's fine. But it would have been so much better to cast that role to someone else and leave it at that, and really push coming to
Look,
question
what you're
how to confront the fact that he has to be that Killmonger, the guy who he fought in the previous movie, right? That would have been
let
so much better. I know they didn't choose not to do it, but this movie really missed the Black Panther
here's
presence.
here's what I say. I'm actually looking forward more, and this is why I like this movie so much. Because when I saw the after credit scene, and let's talk about the after credit scene here.
Mhm.
When I saw the after credit scene where they reveal that uh, T'Challa actually had a kid, so somewhere from Black Panther one, and you can say after the win in Black Panther one, that's probably when it
Well,
happened.
to be after Black Panther, obviously after Black Panther. Well, before,
Because you just
well,
beat Killmonger and saved all Wakanda. What
before. Well,
better
actually,
victory
wouldn't it have been
sex is there?
after the blip?
No, I don't think it'd be after the blip. I because they said that she's been gone for 6 years,
Oh,
like
it was
away
okay. So I guess
away from Wakanda,
between
and
that
that kid
and
is
Endgame, I
like
guess
six
I don't
years
know.
old.
Yeah,
So you have to he had to be around. Like she
yeah,
couldn't
and
blip
whatever.
out.
I mean, it's not a big. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. That's not a huge
But
thing. Yeah.
when he reveals like I'm T'Challa's son and my name is T'Challa, as cool as that was, like I heard people like emotional in my theater, like literally like that really got him, and I'm like, you fools, this has nothing to do with emotional caring. What's gonna happen is in Secret Wars or Kang Dynasty, but I think Secret Wars because time is gonna be fluid and everything. This kid is going to be involved in the final scene. He gets hit in a time wave, and magically, pa 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 pa, the dude is like 23. And now he is going to be the new T'Challa Black Panther. And Sherry's going to teach him, and then Sherry's going to go minorly dark side, and he's going to have to fight her to take control of the mantle. And then, as a new Black Panther, he's going to fight the big bad of of Wakanda, Black Panther 3. That is got the way it's going to go, and I'm here for that. So let's go because that sounds awesome, and that is why this movie is rating so high for me. Just the nerd potential of what I know is going to come next got me hyped because I love Cisco.
I know from factual stuff that's not gonna happen, but that's a different conversation for a different day.
How dare you take that away from
I'm
me?
saying
How
as far as the direction they're gonna take this, but I'll leave that for another day. But
you
I get
son
it.
of a bitch.
But you're right. It wasn't about the emotion with the kid anyway. Um, eh,
Cute kid though. He sold this scene
no,
well.
yeah,
I
it was
liked
a
it.
cool scene. I liked the scene. It was,
But
you know,
but let's
very
talk about
hopeful. You know, like the legacy. I like that. It's cool. I like that. You know,
and let's talk a little bit
what?
about Namor because uh like we talked about we mentioned, but I just want to say standout performance,
He was
like
great. I liked him a lot.
standout performance.
Yeah, he was really
Like
good.
he went from creepy to menacing to compassionate to conflicted to like you hated him and you love like just knocked it out of the park. Exactly what Namor should be. He did.
Yeah, he was good, and obviously we're going to see him again at some point. Um, I'm not sure. Well, I heard something.
I got to
I
tell you,
don't know. That's actually, and I want to leave it. I'll leave it at that. But I mean, we're definitely gonna see him again. Obviously, I don't know what capacity, whether a villain or a good guy. I would assume
and
good guy or something. But
here's three big things about Namor being in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Number one, he firmly states in the movie that he is a mutant, and so it's like your first
yeah, of
major
course.
like I'm a speak. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I am here for that. Super excited. Uh, Second thing is, uh, as I said, he showed people how you do a anti-hero monarch. Like just really like I wish Black Adam was played closer to Namor than the way they play. Like this would have been a problematic hero, and that's what you want is a problematic hero. I really like the way he everything he did is for good reasons because he's being altruistic for his people, but
Right.
it's still like what's going to be best for me as well because we got to play this. You know, if you want to call it a Game of
I
Thrones,
mean, he
like
did
that is
try to make an alliance
right.
with them initially, right? He was never poor intention against them, right? It just ended up being that way because of stuff that happened. But yeah, his
Well, no,
intention was like,
before
hey, let's team up, help me, help you, kind of deal, which
he
made sense.
wanted an alliance via murder, and he got an
Well,
alliance.
yeah, I mean, but then it was with protection of his people. But at least
Well,
he
eventually,
wasn't
but
like
right, it was
anti-Wakanda, like he was just going after them because they're in his way, right? It was like, hey,
it was
we share a common enemy, essentially.
surrender. I'm sorry, alliance over surrender sells better than alliance due to murder.
Right. Yeah.
So
Fair.
it sells better, I think. And and also I loved the way they explained what Namor's name came from.
Yeah, that was cool. Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, so the whole thing is like Namor is tú no tienes no amor y tu corazón, like no love in your heart. That's no more. I was like, oh my god, that's so dope.
That
Like
was
when I
cool.
heard that, I was like, bravo. If there was ever a reason to recast Namor as a Hispanic, that was it. That whole thing, I was like super into it. I will say one thing. As a Hispanic, was I excited to see Wakanda Forever? Absolutely. Was I completely nervous as a Hispanic that because Namor is Hispanic, he might casually use the N word? Absolutely. I was on pins and needles the whole time. Like, oh man, please don't make this weird. And it wasn't. It was great. I love this performance. Solid,
Yeah,
solid, solid.
he was really good. I guess technically speaking, everything was I mean, just listen for me. Why is not tier one? The Sherry thing was a problem, which I anticipated. The length, it was too long. It really was, and you could have really cut out 30 minutes of this film. It's a lot of stuff. It was a little bit overstuffed. Um, the stuff with the whatever, the like one of the few white guys in the film, but what's his face? The whatever.
Oh,
Um,
Morgan Everett
whatever his name is. Yeah, that was
or Everett Friedman. Everett
he could have
Friedman.
been in
That's
one
it.
scene and be done with it. They did too much on that because the focus should have been on the main story. And I don't know how you feel about Riri and all that whole thing, but she was I'm not saying she wasn't cool and all that, but she was so unnecessary. You could have taken her on the film and nothing would have changed at all. And I hate they just put in just for setup and introduction. I don't want to see that. She had no purpose. She didn't really do anything that she was so vital to the story, other than just
She
we want to
she
introduce her because she's got a show coming out.
I liked how she was a first act MacGuffin and then she became a character. Like everything getting to her is that basically a human MacGuffin. We need to reach the creator of the vibranium detector. That's a MacGuffin for the first act, and
It
then
could, in a way, I mean, it could have still had a MacGuffin. It could have been any scientist. Right? It didn't have to be her. It could have been
right,
any
yeah.
scientist
But
X
you did it
and
because you
got
wanted
to
to
it
introduce her.
quicker and after what
My
not weighed down later.
my problem with her was um I thought she did I thought she was a fine
She was fine.
bounce off character
She's fine.
like to kind of keep like the reality of things versus the importance of things. So she went from a guffin to like point of view character comic relief in the second act, and in the third act she was support. The only thing that they made her do was help uh, uh, figure out how to try to stop Namor by doing the drawing thing. That was the only thing that she helped Letitia Wright with. And then after that was just visual back support. But
Yeah,
at the same time, you could say the same thing kind of about like with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like nothing would have changed without him there, but I felt like he made the movie better. I feel the same thing with Riri. Nothing really would have changed without her there, but I felt she made the movie better.
I
Just
think they would have been better without just because you cut off some of the fat. right? It's a 2 hour. No movie should be 2:45. It really shouldn't. Most movies should not be that long, right? Even movies that we like Batman, should have been 2:45. Things like Endgame come an exception because that you're trying to
Well, this
finish.
was 2:41, so technically it's 4 minutes under your rule.
Still way
I'm
too
just
long.
saying.
It's way too long. It's be honest. The movies, there's no movie. I'll give Endgame a pass because that's it's a culmination of 10 years of movie making. That's different, right? This is not, and this movie could have been 220, a little tighter, and cut off some of that extra fat. It was just too much. It was a little bit overstuffed. Not the worst thing in the world, but essentially, when you get a character you can cut off, great. I don't think she made the movie better. She was just there. It could have been someone in a lab coat. Hey, why don't you do this to make the heat? Okay, thanks. And that's it, right?
True,
So you know
true.
what I'm saying. So she didn't really add anything, and whatever. She was fine. I mean, she's not a terrible character.
Like I said,
I'm not
to
jumping for
me,
joy
she
about her
was
show coming. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see her. I can more of her.
to me,
Whatever.
she was the ketchup to this hamburger. Like I didn't need it, but it helped make everything go down.
Yeah, no, I'll give it maybe the sesame seeds on the bun. That's about it. But not even as far as ketchup. That's the Rock's rule. Uh, with all due respect, but I mean it's stuff like that. It's just again, it was just a lot of small things. You know, nothing major. Like didn't make the movie bad. I still enjoyed the film, but
I thought
that
I
I thought
thought
it
the
could have been tighter, a little bit written, and again, it just I just don't know.
and maybe I'll give you this, Jose. Maybe it's because I know they had so many. By the loss of Chadwick was so big, I'm giving this movie more concessions with their choices and what they could do. Maybe that's my overall thing. But that being said, in terms of level of intensity and complex and maturity,
No,
this
it
movie
has some good moments. Definitely some
I
good
was
moments. Yeah,
very
they handled T'Challa
surprised,
well.
and yeah, and
Yeah,
because of that is why I
but it's again,
if I give it
it was a good film, just not
if I give
great.
it
It was
top
I
tier
thought it
Marvel,
was
it's gonna be my bottom top tier. If he goes,
right.
who's your top tier movies? Well, let's start Wakanda Forever and build from there. That's because I really like this movie,
No, that's fine.
and
Yeah, I think
is it
a lot of people are. A
what?
lot of people were like this movie a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I've
with
heard a lot of
you.
mixed reactions, so whatever. But for the most part, I think people are gonna enjoy it.
I don't think the movie's perfect, but I
No,
think this is the
like
most
I don't
perfect
think it's as good as the
movie.
first one.
Well, I think in terms of tone, this movie is actually better than the first one. Like in terms of tone, yeah.
But overall,
But
the first is a better film. It's just this.
I will say this. This movie is a I just a much a surprisingly it is the it's not a perfect movie, but it is the most perfect movie the movie could be due to its situation. Like a better version of this movie, not
I would agree
because of
with
the
you if
situation.
there's a 2 hour and 20-minute runtime.
You think so?
Yeah, but it's not, so I can't say it's the best version of it because
Okay,
they could have done better, right?
we will agree to disagree.
Because
I
now you're
agree.
saying it's perfect, right? You're saying it's as good as it can be. It's
And
not.
the most perfect version of based on everything you needed to do.
No,
Is this
but
this
that's what I'm saying.
this
And
is
then you're
it?
saying it's a perfect film, which is not. What you just said is not.
It's not a perfect
So it's hard.
movie,
It's
not
hard.
at
You know what I'm
all.
saying? So you
No.
kind of you make that statement.
Like I even told you, the whole
They did a
death
good
kill
job
scene.
considering what they had to do because they made a really
That's what I'm
bad
saying.
decision to go that route.
And like I told
And
you,
that's not on
that
Coogler.
first
That's on Feige. And I get he did the best he could of what he was given, right?
everything pre the 1 year later felt very clunky. After it said 1 year later, it was great. So I'm just showing you the first 10 minutes. It's not. It may not jive with you. Maybe you like it. Maybe you don't. It didn't work for me. But after the 1 year later, banger. Like just nonstop fun and like intense and surprising. Literally, like what's gonna happen next? Like there was no Marvel formula they were following on this. It was just a really intense, as realistic as
Okay,
possible
that's
type of
I'm not.
about two warring nations that have the most powerful element in the world. Like it was great to see that because at no point did I go, "Oh, this is going to happen." Every time I thought I did, they flip it on me. I'm like, "This is great." And then when I thought they would stop going hard here, they went hard. I was like, "Oh wow, this is great." I did not see any of this, and there's real world consequences, and you have to show what being an adult is like because of real world consequences. It I haven't seen that in a Marvel movie. I haven't seen this in a movie like that in a while. I haven't seen it in a Marvel movie, and that's why if it is top tier for me, because I do believe it's kind of between the two, I will say it is going to be my bottom row of top tier one Marvel movies. Like I will start the conversation there and build up. That's how I see it.
Okay, that's fair. Like I said, It's good. It's a good film. It really is. It's just it is. I mean, it's. And I don't think I don't know. I guess I wanted more. I expected more at the end of the day. It really did, and it was fine. It was a good film. It's a good film. Minor complaints, enjoyable. People are really gonna like it.
Would you say it is in either one or two? Probably if it's two for you.
Oh, it's definitely
Of
two. Like I said, lower end two, but it's still a two. I got there's other
no,
movies
no,
in
no.
tier
I'm saying
two.
out of all the Phase Four movies that came out,
I still think Shang-Chi's just a better film, a more entertaining
really,
film.
I
Yeah, it's
don't
just
see
more like
that.
if you gave me a choice, I would sit down, pick one to watch. I'm gonna watch Shang-Chi. Um, although that movie wasn't perfect, I think we both liked it as a tier two,
I
right?
really that said the third
The
act
third act, but here the
was a
third
big
act
mess to
again
me.
with
It was
this
a
the
big
third
mess.
act for me. The third act was, but for different reasons, didn't work because of Shuri, and then there was an underwhelming kind of finale. To be honest with you, as far as the action, it wasn't good. I mean, it just wasn't that good as far as the action wise. There was better action early in the film. Much like Shang-Chi, same thing, right? The action was great early on, the end was whatever. So they both have similar patterns, both different films, but as far as pure entertainment, I'm gonna get more out of Shang-Chi. Not saying Shang-Chi is the greatest thing ever because it's not, but I did like
But
it.
for one, just for
You know,
tier four, just for tier four.
yeah, yeah, tier two, like four.
No, no, for Phase Four. So
Oh,
Phase
Phase four,
Four.
yeah, oh, right, right, yeah, yeah. Phase four, yeah. I think
Sorry.
Shang-Chi by hair, because I love No Way Home, but that was really just gimmicky. Let's be real. When you look at it objectively, it's not the best written. It's fine, but it's not. It's just more. You take away two Spider-Mans, and it's just a basic Spider-Man movie. It's not even better than Homecoming for that matter. Like Homecoming, I thought was a
really
better,
liked.
but like just better film. It's talking about writing, everything else, a film, and I'm judging it by that, right?
Okay.
So No Way Home is not a great film. It's just a fun, entertaining ride because it has a lot of cool shit that we never thought we were gonna see. You take that gimmick away, it's Spider-Man.
I still like
It's
the
good. I'm saying I
journey
had a
that
lot of fun. I enjoyed watching it,
Peter was in.
but let's be honest about what we're watching, right? It's like when you're a fan of like Moon Knight. You may enjoy Moon Knight more because you love that character, right? He does
Right.
more for you, and that's fair. For us, we grew up with Tobey Maguire, and we saw Andrew Garfield, and having to get that was cool as shit, right? But
Right.
that really wasn't. It's just the gimmick of that, and that was cool. But that's not, so that for me, Shang-Chi is probably the best one. It doesn't say a whole lot, and that's how weak this Phase Four has been personally. Black Panther is very close to it. Like it's a very similar film in terms of how good they are, but yeah, overall, I mean, yeah, like I said, the other ones were we
Okay. So
Love and
talk.
Thunder,
So
whatever, and Doctor Strange, whatever. Black Widow was not good. It's been disappointing. Phase Four, it really has. I'm glad it's over. Right, let's turn the page.
yes.
Right, okay, let's start fresh, new phase. We got Quantum Mania coming up. We get now is where it feels like with Quantum Mania, like okay, now as late as it is, they're finally getting introduction to what this has been all about, right?
Right.
And I think that's been the biggest problem with Marvel. It's just they're giving us so much stuff. There's been no focus on what they're aiming for, which is Kang Dynasty, right? I mean,
Right.
Kang Dynasty. We've seen Kang once, a different version of him for like 5 minutes, and which
Right.
we both agree we didn't quite like that version of
Yes.
right. So what are we excited about? This is now Quantum Mania. Oh, okay, let's kick it off one year. Where we're going with this, I'm looking forward to that for that reason. I think after we know what's gonna happen in Quantum Mania, obviously, he's in this quantum realm, and what his wife who used to work for him or with him or whatever, she betrayed him, and she's going out. We know what this movie is gonna be like. You can just look at the trailer, and you can figure this movie out in 2 seconds. It's really gonna be about what version of Kang we're getting, right?
Right.
Because I hope it's not that Loki one, because that's really disappointing. I'm hoping
Well,
it's not.
here's the thing
It could be
too.
just he just did that because he's Kang
If
X,
it
but
if it's any consolation to you as a nerd, the guy who wrote Quantum Mania is the same guy who wrote the Rick and Morty episode about the tank of acid,
yes, yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
and he's also been hired to write Kang Dynasty. So obviously, they're really happy with what he
No,
just did
yeah,
in
I
this
hope so.
movie.
But I think I predict. But now, okay, Phase Four is done. When people shit on it, people like, whatever. It's just all right. This is fresh start. Phase Five. Here we go. Quantum Mania. It's good. We want to get off to a good start, right? We didn't get off to a good start with Black Widow, right? For Phase
No,
Four. That
that
that really
was
set the stage, right? Let's be honest. For
kind of did,
for
kind of
Phase
did.
Four was going to be so.
Yeah,
Hopefully, okay. It's a new game,
yeah.
right? Here we go. Kick off. Can they hit it big? Because this movie has to hit big. Quantum Mania has to be really good. Because if it's not, are we too excited about Kang Dynasty? Like honestly, I mean, okay, like,
That's you're not wrong. You're not
right.
wrong.
So I'm hoping.
It's got to set the tone for what's about to come
Right,
next. This is
exactly. It's the one. This is because after that, we're gonna get a lot of stuff that's not related to that. Unfortunately, like
right, right,
Echo
right.
and
I
Daredevil,
mean, I think
whatever.
Loki too will be related to it
Loki, I
somehow.
assume Loki would, but I
Right.
think that's we talked about. I think that's about it, right? The only two films or shows or whatever that. May have direct Thunderbolts. I don't think so. Um,
I don't know,
no
but
Blade.
it's a full season.
I mean, we see the Captain America doesn't seem like it would be tied into Kang stuff. Maybe I don't know. It's just like I said,
Um,
it's not a lot that we saw. Like, oh yeah, like it's building towards Kang. Right? It's just
right.
Quantumania and then Loki. I don't remember what. Maybe Fantastic Four event when that comes out
I think
eventually.
Fantastic Four will probably be connected too. Honestly, I
It
think
would be,
that's
but that's
probably
not till the following year. I think they so it's like
yeah, because
it's a
they got
long
pushed
way
back.
before we
Yeah,
see that. And I got you think we're gonna see him in Quantumania or no? Maybe end
maybe
credit? No. Yeah.
a post credit, maybe a
Yeah. Think
post
so.
credit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only way early, as early. That's the only way you'd be able to pull it off.
Okay.
Only because Kang is an Avengers villain, but he is related to the Fantastic Four. Kang is
Right.
Mister Fantastic's like 100th great grandson.
Oh,
So
right. That's right. That's right.
like there is a connection there. So if you're gonna do Kang, there's no way you're not gonna make that Mister Fantastic connection, especially when Fantastic Four comes out during your Kang big bad
Yeah.
run.
Oh,
You
that's right.
can't
That's the
not
one
do that.
that gets released. That's the odd thing too. That's the one that gets released right before Kang. So we get a good introduction of Fantastic Four, but hopefully that hits too. I'm hoping it's interesting because Phase Five is a big deal, man. Because Phase Four is
Yeah,
not the best. If I'm rooting for Marvel, I really am, but I don't want to see another mediocre phase.
I
Don't.
agree.
Let's step it up, man. They can do better than this, right? They've got some good stuff,
Yeah,
but I mean, overall, what do you think was the best out of Phase Four?
I mean, I'm
Was it? Is
sorry to
it
be
Black
such a
Panther?
basic bitch about it. No, I think No Way Home has been the
Okay,
best one,
that's fair.
but
I
like
get it.
Wakanda Forever is like tied for that. Whichever one falls in first and second, the third one automatically is Shang Chi.
Okay, okay.
So
Well,
like that's
not
that.
Eternals. What are you talking? No, just kidding. Uh,
Yeah, I you heard me. I didn't
what do you
stutter.
mean? Uh,
But like a big shocking twist, I will say Eternals goes above Thor: Love and Thunder.
ooh.
True. I
As we have
rewatched it.
problems with Love and Thunder, it's still entertaining. I'll give it that much, right?
I rewatched Eternals, and I was like, oh, this movie's actually a little bit better than I felt. Like they were maybe a little bit too hard in it, and I had not built up the courage to rewatch Thor: Love and Thunder. So
It's fair. It's a fair statement. I get it.
I watched it with my kids. I had a good feeling with my kids, and I think I'm gonna hold on to it a little bit longer,
Okay, just in case,
just in
just
case. And then afterwards, I'm gonna be like, oh, I hope this is good. So
I
just
got you.
putting it out there.
I mean, I
But I
can't.
saw Eternals by myself, and I was like, yeah, it's still long, but
God,
the first act
that
is
stuff's long.
solid, and the third act is really good. So I mean, yeah, I can I I can appreciate it a little bit more now.
Fair, but it's still not a great film.
Not a great film.
No, not
I'm just talking about in this phase, in phase four.
well, again, I guess a lot left to be desired, including the TV shows, right? We're still waiting for that great show. I'm hoping that comes up at some point. I guess I don't know.
I have to say I really liked Moon Knight, even though I
When it
didn't get
was
a lot of
good,
Moon
when it was
Knight.
good, yeah, no complaints.
I liked
Yeah.
Miss Marvel. I like She
Oh,
Hulk.
so it's good. Oh, God, we can get started with that. This is the show's about goodness today. It's about giving
Sorry,
thanks.
I'm just
We're here.
talking
This is
about.
like our giving thanks kind of part of the show, right? We give
I'm
thanks for.
speaking my truth, sir. All right?
You know
Can
what I'm
I just
saying?
speak my truth? Is that
You,
possible?
we're waiting for the turkey, and you bring up stuff like She-Hulk. That's just I can't.
It's fun. It's a fun snack. It's like the potato chips. Delicious. It's fun. Turkey's coming, but I'm eating potato chips.
That's like
Who doesn't like eating potato chips and popcorn? It's great.
it's like the well, you actually like liver, so that's a bad example. But to
I
most
do. I do
people,
like it a lot.
She-Hulk
It
is.
is
I
delicious.
know you're a fan of liver. I remember that. But to most people, liver is not a not exactly. It's an acquired
That's
taste.
because you've never
It's
made it the way I make it, because I make it the bomb.
uh,
And maybe that's it.
and that
Maybe
could
it's
very
because
well be the
everyone had
case.
the
But I
worst
think
version
yeah, I
of
think it's
something
fair
that
to say
I've
most
had
people
the best
yeah,
version of.
most people
So
probably don't
maybe
like
that's it.
liver, right? Let's be honest. It's let's be clear that it's
You've never had
general
the liver I make.
consensus. They haven't
So
had yours. Fair enough. But liver, isn't like it's not something you order on the menu when you go to a restaurant. But yeah, listen, and I'm really glad. I'm glad to turn the page. Right, it's turn the page. Looking forward to the.
listen, if we're turning the page, I feel like Wakanda Forever was the best last thing you read in that page.
It ended well. Like I said, I like Black Panther. I really did. It's not a bad film. I enjoyed it. It's tier two. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I wanted to be for me. I know for you it was. I wanted to be there. I was excited for this one. as much, particularly coming off Love and Thunder. Like okay, let's make
It
amends. Let's make
it
amends
was
here, right?
so much better than Love and
Oh no, no,
Thunder. Honestly, so much better than Love and
this is way
Thunder.
better than Thunder. It's
And
not even
like I
close.
said,
It's not even
I
close.
felt like it was a very big step in
Yeah,
not the general tone of Marvel, but the fact that Marvel can do movies like this. I was like, I
yeah.
like that. I liked
It's
it a
good, but
lot. I
again,
think
I just it's just because of the situation. Is this a one-off? Probably because they had to. If you're not going to recast them, I like the idea you have them paying homage and honor. I get that. So and they did it well. And again, that's
think of it this way: since they haven't announced a Black Panther 3 yet, they have not because this one just
it's
came
going to be a
out,
while.
right?
It's going to be a while. Yeah.
But they've already announced Secret Wars. I'm telling you, aged up T'Challa Jr. is going to come in, and that's how you're going to get your
I say just
T'Challa.
give us M'Baku as well. M'Baku technically should be Black Panther at this
No,
point.
he's not because he's not from the Panther clan. He's from the White Gorilla clan.
No, but he challenged. He has his right to challenge. And Shuri, she does not have to fight. Period. Now she has no strength to fight him with. Forget about it. No, she hasn't got no shot. Come on, if she beats M'Baku, I'm never watching a Marvel film ever in my life. If that ended up being the case.
I think that's why
That's
M'Baku represented her at the end of the
right. But I mean,
challenge.
he said, hey, I challenged for that thing. So I'm saying, they have to fight. She was never gonna beat him. Let's be clear.
Right.
So technically, he will be black. He should be Black Panther
Yes.
down the road, right? And that's what they set up, right? Let's be honest. Which I'm fine with. I think he's great, man. Put him in there. Why not? Fucking the guy's fantastic. So, and he's a badass. I'm
Yeah.
saying he can fight. Hey, he's a warrior. Right? That's
Yeah.
what you want. As he's a leader. So, and he came close. He almost beat T'Challa, right, in the first film.
Yeah. He
Um,
was beat T'Challa, and you know what? He tried to fight Coco Clan. Like
yeah.
that's how.
He
It was
tried.
no
Yeah,
powers, just straight
just
came
straight
in.
up.
Anyway,
He's gangster, man. I like him. So I mean, let's see. I mean, I don't think they're gonna get Black Panther anytime soon. Um, at least not till Phase
but I'm
Seven
telling you, after
or whatever.
after 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 Secret Wars, Time Wave distortions, a bunch of other garbage, Bing Bang Boom, aged up to
They
T'Chaka.
could age him up, and then he goes against M'Baku.
It's gonna go against his
You know,
M'Baku, and he's gonna have to fight his aunt for the title because she's gonna go. She's gonna start going more and more Killmonger, and he's gonna have to fight her for the title.
I don't know if she's gonna. I mean, I thought she learned her lesson. This like she's not gonna go that route. I don't know. It just seemed like okay,
She was very close.
she's
She
close,
was
but then
very close,
she
but
came to
she
grips.
could.
Saw the mom. Is like okay, this is not
Right.
you, which is fine.
I feel like
I didn't have a problem with that.
I feel like Killmonger's influence is going to grow, and then he's got to challenge her for the title before they fight the real big bad. I think M'Baku is going
Okay.
to be the big bad of Act One. His aunt's going to be the big bad for Act Two, and then the big bad of the movie Act Three. That's who he
You just
fights.
have Namor with Black Panther and call it a day. Just get some Latino presence in there, dude. Come on. Why is sweep? That's why I said that the other complaint. Just swept the Latino under the rug at the end of the film, dude. He had the moment of shine to raise up a culture atop of Wakanda and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they just brushed it aside. Whatever, it is what it is. I'll leave it at that.
You know why? It's because they dried out his skin, and he couldn't. And everyone knows that Hispanics have a lot of flavor, and if you dry out meat, it has no flavor.
Listen,
And so that was how they stopped
that's
Namor. They took all his
they
flavor
took
out of it.
they didn't put a little sazon. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm saying. Like it really,
I get it.
all
Look at that
it was like
logo, the adobo that wasn't there. I get it. Not the same.
to mojo, it's a little mojo action, and boom,
You know,
I'm ready to go. That's all he needed.
you
But
can't
they
have
took
the
it away from
churrasco
him.
without the chimichurri. You know what I'm saying?
They took it away from him because they dried him out. They took away
It took
all
all
the
the
sauce,
flavor,
all
dude.
his juice.
It's like, dang,
So it was a
he was
bummer.
just
It was a
dry
bummer.
chicken at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
No
and
respect. I
that
said
is how you
no
stop
respect, dude.
Hispanics.
I'm telling you.
You make them dry and like
Still waiting for a
gross.
moment, dude. All hopes are pinned with Blue Beetle, for Christ's sake. What does this world come to, man? Come on, bro.
Wait until they do a Namor movie, and then you can be like, "Oh, cool! They're finally gonna do some
Perhaps,
justice."
but that's gonna be a while too. But I know he's popping back up. But yeah, so
Oh yeah,
listen,
absolutely.
good film. You enjoyed it a little more than I did. All good, but we both liked it. I think a lot of
Yep,
people are gonna like it. If Phase 4 ended well with that,
I think
and
so.
just turn the and I just want a good Phase 5. I am hoping Phase 5
I'm
is
really look. I
you
have
know
not been disappointed by an Ant-Man movie so far. They've always been fun.
they've been fun.
They,
Solid, fun
and
films.
so
Yeah,
if this movie is a super fun ride,
and I think it's gonna be fun. I just want that. It's just it comes down to Kang. It really does.
right?
Like, what are they doing with him? What's the plan? Is he coming off as the guy, right? And that because everything hinges on this film. It really
Yeah,
does. I'm not saying it's gonna be great because this film was great, but if this movie is good, it's gonna be hard. It's a high a high hill to climb from
Right.
that, right? Starting at the
Right.
bottom. So yeah, that's. But listen, this February, right? February, yeah, February 18th.
Yeah, February. February. I was
Um,
surprised. That was be March, but February.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's February. Yes, February. Yes, I get they have moved it. Whatever. So let's see, man. That's a few months, couple months away. So yeah, we'll get another trailer coming up. And but yeah, dude. That being said, Eric, bring it home.
Guys, that has been the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love all the love and support you guys are giving us. Don't forget to like, subscribe on the Latin Nerd Network here on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We have Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram. We have Nerdsplaining underscore at Twitter. If you want to check out the original audio episodes, check them out at ericdasilva.com. ERICDASILVA. While you're there, don't forget to pick up my first comedy album, Adorably Offensive, there as well. I should be start going on tour next year, so keep an eye out for that. Super excited about stuff that comes out with that. And as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to keep sending us your questions and your opinions. We love engaging you guys online. And as always, I have been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. If you don't know, now you know. Boom.
Peace.